I am Antonio Cozzella. I born in a small island of Italy. Si chiama Procida, near Napoli, 11/4/34. The island was beautiful, but in poor family. That time, because I was born in the family with 11 kids, two died, where they told me after because I was a kid, And we had 1.5 bedroom, and there no time for me, no space for me to sleep. And I was asleep on the table where we used to eat, And that was, even if I was a little kid, I couldn't understand that. I started arguing with my father. Say, why are you going to sleep on the table, Why you buy all these kids, I was a little one, and I couldn't understand. And my father said, oh, that's God that sent the kids. I said, that's you, not God. And that was a little kid. And then it started a little bit of argument with my father to grow, When I was a grow up, always I had something to say because I didn't like it. I never had dress, I never had toys, I never had nothing,
My first child memory was more or less when my father left from Italy. He decided to come here and stay for a couple of years and return back home. But he never did. So one day, in a letter he wrote that we had to come here, in Australia, me and Mum, that he wasn't going to come back. So after 3 years, we decided to join him here, and my sisters were here too. I remember that I used to be at my grandma all the time. My auntie, she was married and never had any kids, and I used to be at her place all the time. Everywhere, that she went, she used to take me too. And my mama used to work. I was very close with Mum, but she was always busy, working, and my auntie had more time. Nana was always at home.
What we used to do there in the morning, I used to have a lot of friends that same me, the same condition there, where the poor, more poor than us. We used to go in the street, 7, 8 years old, war time, We used to pinch the stuff, trouble with the police. It was always a big problem, And all these kids, had nothing to do. And we had to do something, And we used to go pinch the stuff in the garden, And after we used to eat to ourselves, My mother and father, they didn't know where I was all day, In the night I come back home, They never even say where I've been, Was there sort of so many kids, Was a sort of I couldn't explain, Was more confusion than anything, You used to go in bed, you get up. It was terrible thing to, when you remember, say, that's true, what I went through. You couldn't understand that, that's true, We used to go pinch the stuff, we used to have little hairs like in the bush, to say. We used to put all things we used to pinch, and that's we used to cook there, some spaghetti, why, kids why, And we used to do all the bad things in the Procida. We used to have a lot of problem, with the people, everyday problem. And that's why I grew in Procida. With my mother, the best relation, But with my father wasn't living much in Procida because he used to have a job in Napoli, He come from Napoli. Summertime he stay away 1 week, Summertime 2 weeks, Because he had this job, he come from Napoli, My father can't say he was bad, He was that sort of type, he enjoys his life, Actually, when they got married, my mother told me they want Tetzloto, little Tetzloto, And he went away for 6 months and left all the kids, I could understand, but I could see was something wrong somewhere, because it was not that affection, was like even a war in my family, like everybody was for himself, Yeah, my brother, like, they used to go work, like in the sea, and in the day they sleep, In the day I was in a home, I used to do all the bad things like in Procida, like I should say this, but this pescatori, fishermen, they're the boat on the shore, and we never had much toilet. Most of all the kids used to go together. We used to do our bad things, near the boat, because we used to put the shit where the pescatori get to the boat, in the night. They can't see, And we used to do this, the pescatori, they used to go crazy. They used to tell me, the other one that they don't touch, they say, these are bloody kids, what they do in the night, And we used to do the boat that was angry, in the port. We used to let go the boat, They couldn't find the boat. And that was fun for us, We didn't know how much damage we used to do.
My family was normal. We were a very small family. We were 3 sisters, and no other children in the family, because my uncle, they came in Australia very young, and my auntie didn't get married, one of them. The other one got married, and they never had any kids. So it was just us 3. I remember that I used to be at my grandma all the time. My auntie, she was married and never had any kids, and I used to be at her place all the time. Everywhere, that she went, she used to take me too. I was very close with Mum, but she was always busy, working, and my auntie had more time, and then I was always at home. And then one day, I was about 5. I was very attached to my nonno, and he had an accident. He went up the country to get some fruit, something, and he decided to light some rubbish was there. It was very windy, and he panicked. And he got burned himself, to death. He died on the fire. And that was very bad. I remember I was very, very upset, He used to take me fish wherever he went, very close to my grandparents, yeah. And I used to go fish every day with him, and used to catch a crayfish, things. Oh, this was for you, It was for me, yeah.
My best friend still, I got the photo, They call it Domenica, They call it Minicucci, We used to spend a lot of time together, but we were about 10 or 15 kids, all the same age, Mostly they're gone, some of them, We used to steal everything, the first orange, the first apples, the first piece. We used to go we used to love the pieces, they were sweet. We used to pinch the potatoes from because there was this people that carried these potatoes. Somebody talked to the chap who drive the carrot, and we used to pinch from the back, When the American come in, we used to talk to the American, and we used to pinch all the box there, And that was very danger, But we have to do because to eat, that's all we were doing, I used to hate the school. I stayed at the school. It was war time. No one tell you to go to the school, but I remember the teachers used to come to my place, begging me to go to school. I used to go under the bed, because the smell from the school, I didn't like it all, And unfortunately, they all the teaching, they still like my family, and they had a lot of patience for me, because I didn't like the school, And always, they tried to encourage me, They used to go there. One day, another day, up the country, we used to go, we used to call it philo, we used to go to school at all, We used to put a stick in the ground, when the sun come on 1 o'clock, the school finish, we make sure we meet the other kids that come from the school. And when we used to go home, my mother said, "Oh, you smell from school. You've been a good boy." I said, "So, I've never been in school." And when I started to understand a little bit better, I was about 10 years old, I had this teacher who was a relation with my family, and this told me, said, "Tony, do something for me, because you need school. You don't understand it, but later on, you're gonna need the school." And he helped me to push, the school by school, the grade by grade, Till I reached, I was 14 years old, this was a really good man, Enrico Sarchione, si chiamava, And they said, "Look, the first thing you're going to learn English." I said, "English?" I said, "You're going to do the job with the English. I'm Italian." He said, "You learn 10 things. Here you call the sea, the mare, sea, the ponte di comando, bridge, the marinaio, silo, la nebbia, fog, He said, "When we do the exam, the chap come from Napoli, make sure, you know this thing." I said, "All right, I've done that. I learned everything." When the things come from Napoli, big direttore come and they say, "Cozzella, all right, presente. How do you call the ponte di comando? Bridge. Il marinaio come si chiama? Silo. La nebbia come si chiama? Fog." Basta. Questo è il numero uno della classe. All the kids, they were there. He said, "What's wrong? You never come to school." And he passed the other kids, they used to go to school every day, He said, "These kids have never done nothing in school." And they give me this libretto, I could get a job in the ship,
On September 9th, the Fifth Army, composed of American and British troops under General Mark Clark, headed for Salerno, 28 air miles south of Naples. On October 1st, 3 weeks and a day after the Allied landings at Salerno, the Fifth entered Naples, one of the great ports of the world. The damage done by the Germans was soon repaired, and it rapidly became our main supply artery.
I didn't worry about the scary, because I used to do 3 kilometers to get a bottle of oil, by run, I used to go, and all this airplane on top, Americans, they bombarded Napoli. Nothing. I see the airplane, they come on top of us, For me, it was like was pissed on, I didn't think to die, or I used to go near this big boat, with the little boat. Didn't worry me at all, I was really like gonna do now. I think, sometimes I say, I'm a different person altogether. Now I'm scared to go in first grade,
We had to collect rainwater in buckets. Many had to drink water from the sewers. There was no other choice. We made clothes with whatever we could find, with blankets, curtains and sheets, but even these materials started to run out. Even the rare species of fish in the city aquarium were eaten one by one.
Fish in the city aquarium were eaten one by one. Before they liberated, they bombarded the city. 20,000 killed, 100,000 homeless.
In 1943, the Mussolini fascist government has collapsed and the Germans have taken control of Italy. Against the Germans, the British and American allies have already taken Sicily, and then the American Fifth Army lands in Salerno, only 60 kilometers from Naples. As the allies advance closer to Naples, the Germans prepare to leave, to evacuate the city. Before clearing out, they wanted to ransack it of anything that would help them: food, provisions, petrol, vehicles, even people.
If a mistake, one day my nonna was up to my place and we had this picture of San Michele, and she opened the window and said, "San Michele, stop the American. That's the any bomb drop in Procida." and all the glass went brrr, but nobody was hurt, you know. And that was the war time. I used to run 3 kilometers. They had about, you know, like, I don't know, they belonged to us, but I couldn't understand the air, you know, because we never had any money, anything, you know. And I used to fix all them. I was really good on that job, you know. I used to love. I used to put the mother, you know, in the cylinder, you know, you put the fast elastic, you know, I don't know, the rings, you know. We used to put it with the couple of screw drive, you know. I used to do all that job really good, you know. I was the best to do that. How I like when the war time, my father was not good enough for the sea, and some pescators, they used to bring the fish there. We used to have this little boat, you know, and my father, he had some things to say, Tony, take me to Naples, you know. The sea didn't worry me, you know, the war didn't think about, you know. I was really free, you know, like it was a good time. And I took my father to Naples. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. It was dark, you know, my father came on the boat because my father couldn't stay in the boat, you know, he couldn't understand at all, you know. And he was like, Tony, be careful from the ship. Tony, be careful. I went in Santa Lucia near Naples, you know. All this big boat, American, you know. When I got soon I went in the port, you know, the people coming. And the first thing I had funny, they're bringing me big glass, this dark beer, 5 o'clock in the morning, you know. It was so funny, I was laughing. My father took the fish, you know, to go to the market, you know, and I went back to project. For me, the sea was no problem whatsoever. I was 44, I was 10 years old. You know, the war was still on, it was not finished. That time of day, you know, I used to do all this, you know, this sort of things, you know, and I couldn't understand, you know. For me, it was nothing. It was actually we had the big jail in Procida, a big one, you know. They used to go all the bad one, you know, in Procida, and you couldn't pass near there 1 mile from the jail, you know. And I used to go half a mile, and the guard from the top, Barca, allontanatevi, se no vi spariamo, you know, about, get away because we shoot you, you know. And I used to write to them. I was carefree, you know. After, to find a little job, there was this fisherman, he wants me to go at 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, to go to sea. I went the first week and they give me 1 cent. And 1 cent, that time you could buy a piece of bread. And the job was hard because I had no clothes, you know, at 4 o'clock in the morning it was cold. When he's coming next week, I said to my father, I said, why I got there to kill me, you know, to loaf of bread, you know, for a week, you know? I don't want to go there anymore. And we used to have argument with my father. I started to get my old. I said, I'm going to do something about it. And I went in Trieste.
Port installations demolished, water system disrupted, buildings mined. That was Naples on October 1st, 1943, when it was occupied by the Fifth Army in World War II. Italy's third largest city on the north shore of the Bay of Naples, Napoli on the road to Rome. It was wrested from the Germans only after the toughest fighting. The drama of the taking of Naples began with the landings at Salerno 6 days after Italy's unconditional surrender. After that surrender, the German High Command sent strong forces to the Naples area who resisted its seizure fiercely. Prior to October 1st, the Fifth Army made contact with Montgomery's Eighth Army advancing from the south. General Clark's American and British forces next drove northward toward Naples, and the 8th spearheaded northeastward and captured airfields at Foggia. Bloody fighting had marked the joining of Allied troops across the toe of Italy, and now they had accomplished the major mission of taking Naples, while the Germans withdrew behind the Volturno River. Concentration camps gave up their human pawns. The hour of liberation was at hand. and joyous was the first breath of liberty. In Naples harbor, humane cargoes were unloaded. Flour from the USA to give the Nazi-looted city its first bread in 3 years. Bread. Here was history stripped of all but its stark realism. In our time, we were to know many wars, the big wars, the little...
Yeah, I remember when the war finished, it was 1945, you know. We were all on the street, you know, we thought we wanted the war, you know. Next minute, this aeroplane from the Germany started to shoot, you know, that was more damage than all the war, you know. Because the Germany, they were terrible people, you know, when that time, you know. And I remember that was all the projects that we are about 10,000 people, they were all in the street to, you know, sing because we won the war, but it was no one. We lost everything, you know. And then that time, I remember there was this Germans with the American, nobody, they were scared to take the next island, the Ischia. And I was carefree, and I said, I take the boat. I said, Tony, take this people. And every American had this bayonet, you know, on Germany. I took them to Ischia.
And how old were you?
I was 1945, 11 years.
So you're on a boat, on your little boat.
Little boat, I took this, when that, now I think about it, I said, why I was scared, you know? I was carefree, you know, that I was so, didn't care what happened, you know? I thought the life belonged to me all the time, you know? I didn't think about things, you know, didn't think at all. People, they were laughing, you know, I didn't, because I took this German American to Ischia, you know?
Havoc created in Naples has been greatly added to by demolition and destruction carried out by the Germans. This is the ruined front door into the city. British troops were the first to enter. The biggest prize yet to fall to the Allies in this campaign. They swarmed into the city and out again with scarcely a pause, leaving other forces coming up behind to complete the occupation. Two young Germans, little more than boys, were rounded up by Italians and handed over. Bordering on tears, the juvenile Nazis must feel that the world's against them. They're right. On reaching the center of the city, thousands of shouting, hysterical people started to swarm around the lorries, tanks, and cars.
And actually, I've done a bit of actor too, you know. We done the few, what do you say, soap, you know, plays, you know. And we couldn't fit the people in. We done that for 1 week, every night was full up, you know. I done San Gerardo, you know, done the main part, you know. And I started to learn in life a little bit. And then I said to myself, I should take a little bit of responsibility for my mother family. And I left the project, I went to Trieste.